President Trump squashing rumors of administration infighting after the New York Times reported that Elon Musk challenged Marco Rubio for not cutting enough workers from the State Department.
Well, I don't think the tensions are high. Look, Elon's a very special person, and these cabinet people are special people. You know, these are very successful people, or they wouldn't have gotten, you know, they've attained the highest heights of government. I think they have a fantastic relationship.
Beverly Hallberg is the president of the District Media Group and a fellow at the Independent Women's Forum. She joins me now. Beverly, what do you make of this report and subsequent denial by the president?
Well, I do think the entire cabinet is in agreement on the mission of DOGE. But when you look at President Trump's leadership style, I think it would be completely in line with how he leads to let cabinet officials maybe duke it out a bit with Elon Musk, to have some disagreements. And I think the most important thing that did come from this meeting that took place is that President Trump said that he's going to take a scalpel, not a hatchet, to future cuts at DOGE. I think this shows that some of the secretaries probably did speak up, wanted to be closer to these decisions. And I think overall, as we move forward with DOGE, it's going to be more important as we get to more of the fine tuning within these organizations.
I mean, D.C., like all institutions, can be pretty territorial, and I think we're seeing a little bit of that right now. Senator Elissa Slotkin, meantime, struggling to answer when asked to comment on Gavin Newsom saying that biological men should not play in women's sports. Watch this.
Well, look, I think, you'll have to talk to Mr. Newsom and his podcast, and we're all talking about it now because it's, good controversy. Let the local communities, just like everything with schools, handle that issue. For me, though, I think, this issue is being sort of brought up in order to make sparks and see sparks fly.
Beverly, the American people, Democrats and Republicans, have been very clear that they do not think biological men, should be in women's sports. So why do Democrat politicians keep twisting themselves into knots, into pretzels, trying to rationalize it?
Well, there is this fork in the road that they're having to face. One is, are they going to admit that they're wrong and that they've been wrong about this issue and then face the woke crowd? Or are they going to double down on their perspective, even though you have Gavin Newsom changing his mind? Now, whether or not people think that's authentic or opportunistic, we're going to have to wait and see. But Democrats are going to be asked this question. You could even tell Senator Slotkin seemed caught off guard by this. You see the eyes darting around, very visibly uncomfortable. I don't think she expected this network to ask her that question, but all Democrats are going to have to figure out what they're going to say. They're lacking leadership in D.C., and so I think that's one reason why they seem to be floundering. But they would serve themselves well if they actually followed the majority of Americans who have common sense about this issue, because they're going to continue to lose Americans if they don't come to the understanding that, no, men should not compete against women.
Finally, to the border we go. DHS Secretary Noem shutting down an attempt to pin family separation again on the Trump administration.
When it comes to reviving the policy of separating families from their children at the border.
We're actually reviving it.
That's what I want to ask you.
President Biden didn't follow the law. He didn't follow the law in the fact that it's always been equally applied until his administration. And then he made decisions to ignore federal law in how he handled immigration and enforcement within our borders.
Beverly, your thoughts on that question and, of course, the response?
Well, I think Secretary Noem is absolutely correct that the Trump administration is merely following the laws that President Biden ignored when he was in office. And I think this question, talking about separating families, children, again, is an interesting choice for legacy media. It's not going to work for them, because even a recent poll by CNN following the speech that the president gave to the joint session of Congress last week showed that 77% of Americans who listened to that speech completely support President Trump and his policies on the border. It's one of the reasons why President Trump won a second term. People have been scared. They've been displeased with what's taken place on this border, and they want it to be taken care of. So I think this is just some of the old liberal talking points resurfacing, and it's not going to work.
Beverly Hallberg, thank you for your time. Have a great Monday.